Hi guys! So today we're going to talk about our last class of rock, and that is metamorphic rock. So if you would, go ahead and get out this packet. We're going to be on the back page where it says metamorphic rock. We're just filling in this little section here today. All right, just a few reminders. Make sure that you are keeping up with all of the work in all of your classes. It's very important. We had a meeting to see who was keeping up in each class. So if you aren't, you probably got an email, and if you are, excellent job. Love that. Another thing you can do is check out my STEAM group. We've got a way to take crayons this week and put them into the 3 different types of rocks, so it's a pretty fun activity. There's a flip grid there that you can share your rocks if you make them. Another thing, number 3, if you can, plan to join our Candy Rock Lab on this Friday, March 27th. We're going to have it at 10 a.m. That'll be a Zoom session with both Miss Keith and I. She will be doing the demonstration, and I'll be answering any questions that you guys type in the chat box. We'll have a link available for that on our website. Number 4, if you need help, please pop into my Zoom session. I'm there every day from 10:30 to 12, Monday through Friday. Even if you don't have a question, just stop in and say hi. I miss you guys. And the last thing is make sure that you have uploaded both of your videos. There should be 2 now that you have put on Flipgrid. One is your type of rock, where you had to go in your backyard and find a rock and watch my video and try to determine if it was igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary. And then the other Flipgrid video that you should have done is drawn your own rock cycle diagram, and on Flipgrid you should have explained it. All right, make sure you get all of that done. Just to review our standard, as a 6th grader, you should be able to explain how to classify rocks through their formation and how rocks change through the geologic processes in the rock cycle. And if you did your rock cycle diagram and explanation on Flipgrid, you have mastered this part. So good job. We're working on how to classify rocks by their formation now, and today we're going to talk about the sedimentary rocks. So your ticket out the virtual door today is that by the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer what are the 2 kinds of metamorphic rock and what are the different characteristics of each type. So before we get started on our notes, I found this picture, and this is a great example of metamorphic rock. If you look at this, you can see the parallel lines of the rock that have been realigned over time because of extreme pressure. And this is what we call foliated metamorphic rock, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go through the PowerPoint, but this is a very good visual of that. So metamorphic rock forms when high temperature and pressure change the texture and mineral content of the rock. So this is part on your notes. As the rock is exposed to high temperatures and pressure, the crystal structures in the minerals in the rock change, and they form new minerals. And this process results in the formation of a metamorphic rock, which is either foliated texture or non-foliated texture. So in foliated, that's where the pressure makes the mineral grains align in planes or layers or bands. That's like the picture that we just saw on the last slide. And here you can see it in the foliated slate. If a metamorphic rock is non-foliated, that means they do not have mineral grains that are aligned in planes or bands. And they usually only have 1 or 2 or just a few minerals. And you can look at this example and see that there's no bands. It's just kind of a solid throughout, no different layers in that. And this is an example of, these used to be round pebbles, but you can see that under pressure, they've all become flattened out. Here's a very good example of some of these that are in layers. And just from being under such extreme pressure, they get kind of smashed. But really what's happening is the crystals are realigning. This is not in your notes, but just to show you some more examples of foliation. So foliation is a term that describes minerals that are lined up in planes. In this example, you can see the different layers and how they are lined up. This is most notable in the mica group, and they usually appear as if the minerals are stacked like pages of a book would be, if you can kind of see that example here. So that's where we get the word folia, because it means like a leaf. If you could stack a bunch of leaves on top of each other, that's kind of how this is. And this is some extra information. Again, it's not in your book, but you guys are so smart, I wanted you to know it anyway. This is what's called lineation, where almost like straws kind of group together. They form kind of like a pencil or needle, and sometimes rocks are aligned in this way. And when they are, we refer to that as lineation. So I want you to look at these two samples on this page. These are both two different types of rock. And I want you to think for a moment if you can tell the difference. I'll give you a second. So this one is actually granite, which is a intrusive igneous rock. And you can see that the crystals are just kind of random around here. But if we look at this one, you can notice more of a linear pattern or bands, and that would be a foliated metamorphic rock. So that's kind of how you can tell the difference. If they have lines called foliation, we know that it's a metamorphic rock. So metamorphic rocks with a foliated texture include slate, phyllite, schist, and gneiss. And if you remember, we saw schist and gneiss in our What Kind of Rock Was It lab. Slate and phyllite are commonly produced when shale, which is a fine-grained sedimentary rock, is exposed to an increase in temperature and pressure. So the minerals in slate and phyllite are squeezed into flat sheet-like layers. With increasing temperature and pressure, phyllite may become schist, which is what we see here in this picture. This is the garnet schist. So these little specks here are the mineral garnet, which is a beautiful red stone. Sometimes they make beautiful jewelry out of it. And here's another example of some non-foliated rocks. Remember, these do not have any lines or any mineral grains. They're just typically composed of one mineral or a few minerals, and they show the effects of metamorphism with recrystallization, where the crystals grow back together, but not in any certain kind of direction. So some examples of this would be marble and quartzite. All right, that brings us to the end of our video today. We went a little bit more in depth than what your notes show, but coming up, not this Friday, but next Friday, we're going to have a guest speaker. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but I'm very excited about it, and they're going to be going a little deeper into some of these rocks with us. So I wanted you to know that. Your ticket out the virtual door today is, what are the 2 kinds of metamorphic rock? So I hope you know those. All right, your assignment today is to read textbook pages 476 to 483 over the 3 types of rocks. And I want you to complete these questions in your book. Now, you're going to submit your answers through a form, which you'll find the links to those on my website. So if you're in first period, you're going to find a link like this. You'll click on it and just answer your questions in the form. You can either do it straight from the forms, or if you want to do it in your book first and then transfer it to the form, that's fine, however you want to do it. But please make sure you click on the correct class period. If you're in second period, click the second period. All right, and please get that to me as soon as you can. All right, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.